Hey there, CJ Math students. I'm going to help you out with homework skills review number 2, very similar to skills review number 1, with a little bit of some different problems on the back. But let's get some homework done before the weekend. So remember, when we're adding fractions, we need to find common denominators. So here, multiply 3/4 by 3, I'll multiply negative 2/3 by 4, and I'll get myself 9 over 12 plus negative 8 over 12. Remember your negative signs. This is a DSSM, different sign, subtract to keep the sign that has more. So I get 1/12 as my answer, C. You have a DSSM in this one as well. Number 3, we have negative 7/4 plus 11/8. We can go ahead and multiply this by 2. In doing that, I'll get negative 14 over 8 plus 11 over 8. Didn't need to multiply this fraction by anything. So it's also a DSSM. So what do I get? I get negative 3 over 8 D. This problem will also be a DSSM. Number 5. I have, again, 3 over 2. I can just multiply it by 4. Don't even have to multiply 7/8 by anything. So I get negative 12 over 8 plus negative 7 over 8. That's an SSAK. I get negative 19 over 8. Obviously, I don't see that there because this is an improper fraction. So 8 goes into 19 2 times, with 3 left over, so negative 2 3/8. C. I'd pause the video if I were you right now. This was an SSAK, by the way, and try and do these problems over here. This is a DSSM, so you get in the habit and rhythm of adding fractions. All right, 7 through 10 will be multiplying fractions. So what does that mean? It means we should look to cross cancel. So 3 and 5, nope, but 2 and 6. The 2 becomes a 1, the 6 becomes a 3. So I get negative 9 over 5. There's only one negative, so that was a DSN, different signs negative. And I get 1 and 4/5, and make sure it's negative 1 and 4/5, because again, there was only one negative. So again, look to cross cancel here. This will also be a DSN. Here we have an SSP, same signs positive, so I can cross cancel the 7s. They both become 1, and I get 1/6. It's positive 1/6. Because I had 2 negatives, so D is your answer. This will be a DSN. Again, look to cross cancel. In fact, I don't think you can cross cancel on there, so just make sure that you change your improper fraction that you'll get into a mixed number. Alright, I'd pause if I were you and try and do those two before moving on to dividing. So with dividing, remember we need to flip. So it's 9 over 5 times 2 over negative 1. Multiply straight across because I can't cross cancel anything. I get 18 over negative 5. And we'll see how many times does 5 go into 18. Goes in there 3 times with 3 left over. So I have negative 3 3/5. And I knew it was negative because I only had one negative. This was a DSN. This is also a DSN. Here's an SSP. So let's switch signs, or sorry, flip the second fraction here. 4/5 times 3 over negative 2. I have 2 negatives, so my answer is definitely going to be positive. I can cross cancel here. The 2 and the 4. The 4 becomes a 2. The 2 becomes a 1. I divided both of them by 2. You get 6 over 5, and we know that should be 1 1/5, and it's positive, again, because I had 2 negatives. So this will also be a DSN. I'd pause now and try and do 12 and 14 if I were you. On the back side, it's our good old friend number fluency. So for a mixed number, you're just trying to say how many times does 8 go into 15. It goes in there 1 time. Nope, yeah, 1 time, sorry. With 7 left over, so 1 7/8. So the decimal for 1 7/8 is going to be 1 point, and then 7/8 is going to be 875. Hopefully you remember your eighths. The percent, I'm going to take 1.875 and move it twice to the right, 187.5%. And to take half, I take half of the original fraction. So 15 over 8 divided by 2 over 1 becomes 15 over 8 times 1 over 2. And what do I get? I get 15 over 16. It can't be simplified, couldn't cross cancel anything. I'm done. So you will be in charge of that second row here. Number 23, what is 120% of 540? I can do this a couple ways. I can say what's 100% of 540, and then what's 20% of 540, or I could multiply. So I could do 540 times 1.20. Obviously my first row is going to be nothing but 0, so I could just put a 0 and then move on to my second row. So 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8. That's going to give me 10. Add 2 zeros because I would have been onto that one. 0, 4, 5. Add it all up. I'll get myself 648. 648 is my answer. Again, you could have done that by saying 100% of 540 is equal to 540. And then 10% of 540 is equal to 54. And since there are two 10% and 20%, because that's what we need 120%, 120. So 20% of 540 would have just been 54 times 2. And that would have been 118. 118 plus 5. It would have been, 108, my fault. 108 plus 540 would have given you 648. Okay. Over 24, I'd set up that fraction 19 over 25 is equal to x over 100 and try and say, okay, what number times 25 gives me 100 to figure out my percent. For 25, I'm going to plug it in. So I have 4 for A and 6 for B. So that gives me 24. I have 4 plus 6 over 2, which gives me 10 over 2, which is 5. And then for b squared, that's 6 to the 2, which is not 6 times 2, but 6 times 6, which is 36. And lastly, for 27, I'm using PEMDAS. Hopefully, I think it's written on your paper. So no parentheses, no exponents, so I can multiply or divide whichever comes first as I read left to right. Boop, multiplication pops up first. So it's going to be 10 plus 15 minus 45 divided by 5. Then again, I read up, the division pops up, so 10 plus 15 minus 9, and then I can add and subtract now. So 25 minus 9, that was these two guys, and 25 minus 9 gives me 16. All right, that's it for your homework. Call me if you have questions.